Everyone, welcome. We're excited to see everyone here today, and thank you for your support and shared belief in the urgent need to help people around the world receive treatment, care, and support for cancer and other critical illnesses. As you know, our mission to accelerate health equity is to accelerate health equity, and 2024 was a really remarkable year. I just wanted to share a few numbers to give you a sense of the impact. We treated almost 300 women with advanced breast cancer, 200 people in our new CLL leukemia program, and over 5,000 new patients across 13 disease areas. And that's in addition to the thousands more that have been supported and been part of the Max Foundation program for years, receiving care and treatment through our network of physicians around the world. We made available the latest innovative treatment for chronic myeloid leukemia, and this gave a lot of patients who had run out of treatment options hope again, because they had access to a new effective treatment for their disease. And we expanded our reach into 2 new countries and made the treatment journey easier for patients in other countries by expanding our network of participating hospitals and clinics. But statistics really only tell a small part of our story. Our vision is really about people and creating a world where all those diagnosed with cancer can live with dignity and hope. The human connections and stories of the people and families we meet drive our desire to do more. And we hear them, we're lucky enough to hear them every day. I'm proud today to introduce our co-founder and CEO, Pat Garcia-Gonzalez, so she can share some of the profound moments of 2024 and our plans to collaborate with our vast network of committed partners to help even more people in 2025. Welcome, Pat.
Thank you, Jeff. And hello, good morning, good afternoon, and good evening to everyone on the call. I'm really excited to talk to you today and share the progress that we made last year. You know, as Jeff said, I believe at the core, the Max Foundation is just a global network of people helping people. And I see it as this sort of beacon of hope in an otherwise very challenging world, especially right now, when, as we know, global health is under threat. I have to say, one of the things I'm most proud of is that I feel our organization is sort of a magnet for the good in people, and it brings out the best in people all around the world. You know, since I've been with the Max Foundation, since we established it, I have to say that I have experienced a level of generosity of spirit and a level of just pure love that I had not experienced before in my life. And what I learn every time I have the opportunity to meet with partners and patients is that beyond the 900 plus sort of official partners that make our work happen, there are thousands of people who step up, who without asking for anything, and who without us knowing, but who are fundamental to our efforts. And today I want to share some of the most remarkable stories of hope that I experienced in 2024. First of all, I want to introduce you to Rajit Kumar Thapa, the chief pharmacist of Patan Hospital in Kathmandu. In this picture, he's standing in front of the medicine cabinet where he stores and very carefully and professionally keeps the medicines available at the hospital to treat cancer. He's a senior pharmacist, and he upholds the highest standards of inventory management. He was so proud to share his records with me. He meticulously keeps all the dispensation records and for the safety of the products and the patients. You know, in Nepal, we're very grateful that we can provide our entire portfolio of medicines. And it was really wonderful to see the great systems in place the hospital has to ensure the best possible outcome for patients. I especially appreciated that right outside the pharmacy, there was a bulletin board, and there was a document on the board with a list that said free of charge medications. And I thought, and I had the whole list of the medicines that we provide, and I thought that that was like a very transparent and great way to make sure that everybody in the hospital knows what's available. Now, it just so happened that in that visit to this hospital, I was with one of our board members, Mabel Woloch. And Mabel is a biochemist who retired a few years back from a career in clinical development. And at this moment, when we were at Patan Hospital, the lives of Raj Kumar and Mabel sort of intertwined in that moment, because during her career, Mabel had worked on the clinical development of some of the medicines that were sitting on that shelf. And I feel it was this profound full circle moment for Mabel and for Raj Kumar. And it made me realize that, beyond those who are helping today, there's thousands of others who are sort of tediously and steadfastly developing the medicines we will need in the future. So I hope you can imagine yourself seeing the reward of that one project you're working on and now realizing that that medicine is there on that shelf in that pharmacy in Kathmandu. As many as you know, the services we provide to physicians and patients go beyond medicines, because in order to really have access, you need to provide a lot of support to make sure the medicines reach patients. But I just want to say, don't get me wrong, every time you ask a physician or anyone at a cancer institution in a country like Nepal, what else can I do for you? The answer is always the same. We need more drugs on our shelf for our patients. So, in 2025, we aim to increase our work and our impact. We aim to provide services to 6,000 new patients, additionally to the 34,000 we're already helping. We hope to reach patients in at least one additional country. Even though we're working in more than 80 countries, there are still countries where that need our help. We will support and improve diagnostics in 50 countries. We will launch a program to provide to patients diagnosed with a ultra-rare disease, a new innovative treatment that has just been developed. And we hope to engage at least one new pharma partner. So as usual, we're very, very, very ambitious in our goals for 2025. Now, let me share another remarkable story. I'm not a physician. I always say I don't treat patients. The work of the Max Foundation is enabled by the commitment and dedication of more than 500 hematologists and oncologists we partner with. They are the ones that prescribe the medicines we supply for their patients. Now, these 500 physicians work in close to 300 hospitals. So if you think about it, there's about 1.5 physicians per hospital. And in some cases, these physicians have a patient load of more than 1,000 patients, if you can imagine it. And I've seen in a clinic day, a physician has to see between 100 and 150 patients on one day in that clinic day. So without the commitment of physicians, we can't really help anyone. So we're constantly looking for new ways to support their work, to make their work more efficient, and to ease the burden of this sort of tremendous caseload these professionals carry every day. So this is Dr. Arun Shahi from Patan Hospital in Kathmandu. Dr. Arun is smart, is charismatic, he is caring, he is ambitious, he wants the best for the people in Nepal, and he works day and night to care for his patients. And he's an avid user of our mobile app, which helps him coordinate all aspects of support to patients, including managing their time on treatment, resupply needs, and services provided. So when we saw the records room at the hospital, rows and rows of folders up to the ceiling, I asked him, how can he possibly track and manage all his patients? Because he has hundreds of patients under his care. So he held up his phone and showed us our app and said, it's all here. in the palm of my hand. You know, we learned that our system is the best tool he has at the hospital because the hospital has no electronic medical records and uses paper files. And provided tools like this patient access tracking system, you know, strengthen our ability of our partners to diagnose, treat, and support patients. So in 2025, I'm happy to say we will be working with Dr. Arun and a few other of his colleagues to identify potential expansion of this electronic record system towards helping physicians track additional patient data and be able to improve patients' clinical outcomes. All right, now let me shift gears and give you a little bit of background for my next story, okay? In November of 2009, we were 8 years into our partnership with Novartis for access to the first targeted treatment for chronic myeloid leukemia. And many of you are probably very familiar with this program and this drug and this disease because, of course, we have worked on this for many, many years. But I learned in 2009 that in 80 of the countries where this company was willing to provide this most innovative treatment to patients, in more than 50 of these countries, it was not possible to diagnose chronic myeloid leukemia for lack of PCR labs. You know, I've told this story many times. Few patients who had something to sell would sell it, and then they would send their blood sample to Germany to confirm that their diagnosis, so they could be helped by the program. And it made no sense to me, and I became so obsessed with changing the paradigm in whatever way possible. So, you know, as part of the story that I've told many times, you might have known that, you know, I shared my findings with Dr. Jerry Radish at the Fred Hutch Cancer Center in Seattle. And Dr. Radish could not help himself but to volunteer that if we send blood to his lab, he would run the test free of charge. You know, over the years, I have gotten to know Dr. Radish very well. He's a brilliant researcher and physician, but his superpower is his kindness. He's the kindest man I've ever known. And so, you know, the first pilot we started with him around 2010 was on behalf of patients treated at Hospital Nacional Rosales in El Salvador. We had learned that, you know, patients there did not have a way to get diagnosed. And so we had to figure out how to ship blood from El Salvador to the Hutch. It required great coordination. I remember because of they didn't have enough of what is needed to stabilize the blood. So the blood needed to reach the Hutch within 24 hours. The shipment itself was extremely expensive. It was very big for just a vial of blood. It was just this whole thing that needed to reach the Hutch. And Dr. Radish, you know, did a few other things that I have to say that he and himself has radically changed the survival of patients in many, many countries in the past decades. First, he connected us with a company that was working to develop a PCR test in a cartridge, sort of a point-of-care solution that could help diagnose chronic myeloid leukemia at our partner hospitals. And in 2012, we started our journey to establish this new diagnostics infrastructure, hospital by hospital, country by country. However, he was not done. You know, in the meantime, and sparked by the challenging project from El Salvador, Dr. Radish developed a method of extracting RNA from dry blood spots, which would allow us to ship blood in simple, inexpensive mail while we continue to build in-country infrastructure. So now your patience has paid off, and I finally share the reason I'm excited to update you on this story. The reason I share this long story with you is to celebrate another full circle moment, the arrival of this molecular diagnostic instrument to Hospital Rosales in El Salvador, a project 14 years in the making. From that time when, you know, many years ago, we were trying to ship blood to El Salvador, now the test can be done at the hospital in very, very accurate and short time. So this arrival really culminates so many years of efforts, and I think it shows the importance of innovation, persistence, and partnership to improve patient outcomes. You know, for the past 12 years, the Max Foundation has invested every additional resource you give us in elevating the capacity of partner hospitals to diagnose specific cancers. We cannot treat cancer if we cannot confirm the diagnosis. But the truth is that we're just scraping the surface. In order to make a bigger difference and accelerate progress, we have to partner with many, many more stakeholders interested in strengthening diagnostic capacity. So in 2025, we are determined to amplify our efforts to add resources to our Solidarity Fund to strengthen health systems. And I hope that all of you are going to help us figure out how to do that. All right, my last story, I promise, and this one is about it's a total different dimension, and just to show the sort of the breadth of the challenges that sometimes we have in our work. You know, it turns out that in 2024, the challenges that we face were not just individual. You know, when conflict engulfs some countries, this crisis can displace years on efforts and success. You know, Sudan, for example, which is a diverse and wonderful country with incredibly dedicated individuals who, despite so many years of conflict, internal political unrest, and political instability, we had built with them a very robust program to help thousands of patients. And the hero of this story is Dr. Gaber, whose courage and determination goes really beyond our dreams. In January of 2024, despite our best efforts and the efforts of Dr. Gaber, we had to suspend the entire program that at the time was providing treatment for more than 1,000 patients because of the war. You know, the capital, Khartoum, was under siege, clinics and hospitals were abandoned, and millions of people were displaced, as all of you are aware. So it was very evident to us that cancer patients would be silent victims, as really access to treatment was impossible. And yet, there's always hope. Dr. Haber, who himself was displaced together with his family, never gave up. I remember he would go silent for weeks. We would lose contact with him for a while, but eventually he would resurface in a different part of the country. A couple of times he had to, again, flee, relocate, and then, you know, in a few months later, resurface somewhere else. But finally, sometime the middle of last year, he felt he was in a stable situation, and he approached us to reinstate the program at another hospital in a different part of the country because he really still wanted to help his patients. So it was really only thanks to his tenacity and commitment of many people in our team that we were able to restart operations in Sudan last September. Dr. Haber was kind enough to send us a photo of a celebration of patients on World CML Day just a few weeks after the new first medicine shipment arrived in Sudan. And remarkably, there's hundreds of patients that we have been able to contact and have been able to return and restart the therapy that they need. So all this to say that there's a lot of work to be done. There's a lot of need, and that we are more committed than ever to increase our impact for patients. So our priorities for 2025, some of them I just told you, you know, reach more patients. For us, it's all about the patients. So we want to reach, you know, 6,000 new patients. We want to establish a program in one new country, as I mentioned. strengthening diagnostic capacity is super important, and we need to continue to increase and strengthen the diagnostics in about, we have active programs for diagnostics in about 50 countries. We want to launch access to this one newly approved medicine. We want to expand capacity of our electronic record system, including, of course, the use of AI. And also, I believe there's still not enough that we're telling about our work. I think is so important, our experience, that we need to expand our capacity to share with the world. And so we really determined to put out a lot of more reports and publications in 2025. And now, just quickly, before we go into the Q&A, I just want to tell you that one of the highlights of my year last year, on Max's birthday, on the anniversary of his birthday on October 19th, I walked into Patan Hospital in Kathmandu. We had just crossed a very, very crowded hallway. I was a little bit stressed trying to keep up with our hosts that were guiding us through this sort of sea of people towards an hematology consulting room. I was worried that I was getting lagging behind, that I was going to get lost. But finally, all of a sudden, I reached this small consultation room, and to my surprise, high on the wall, there was a picture of Max. And to me, that was such a big moment personally, because, never in my wildest dreams I could imagine that Max would be known by people in Nepal as a symbol of hope. And like Mabel, who 30 years later was able to see the direct link of her efforts, in the lab to help patients in Nepal today. For me, seeing the photo of Max in that consultation room in Patan Hospital in Kathmandu was such a full circle moment. We didn't establish the Max Foundation to be important or to be big or to anything. We just wanted to make sense of a tragedy and just try to make sure one family and another family did not have to go through that same pain. So, today what I want to say, especially to those young professionals and researchers who might not be able to see the light at the end of the tunnel, especially today, but I tell you, it's there. And, my message is that keep your focus on your contribution, keep your engagement, and know that, in 30 years, you will have your full circle moment. I think that in these very difficult times for global health, we need to remember we are all interconnected and we need each other. So our commitment to helping those who need our help is stronger than ever. It is an honor for me to partner with all of you. We cannot do anything without you. And we're very, very grateful for your support. And we expect that 2025 will be another really, really important and transformative year of growth and impact for the Max Foundation. So let me turn it back to Jeff and for a reminder of our gala and to kick off the Q&A. Thank you. Thank you, Jeff.
Great. Thank you, Pat. Really inspiring stories. And, it is truly about the people, and kind of in these challenging times, there's still a lot of good going on in the world. Like we all need to know that and have the opportunity to support it. So in that thinking, actually, we have our Maximize Life Gala coming up on Saturday, March 29th. We'd love people to come join us in person. It's a really fun event where we celebrate the work. We have a lot of special guests from some of the countries that Pat talked about. Actually, Dr. Arun will be there, for instance. So I think it's just a great opportunity to get together and share that spirit of global health and our willingness to help those around the world. get access to the care and medicines they need. We got quite a few questions in advance of this related to some of the challenges around global health. So I'm gonna ask Emily to pull down and just so we can see people. And folks, you can raise your hand if you have a question you want to ask. It may take me a minute to take you off mute when you do. So be patient, because I have to press the allow to talk button. But the first question that we actually had gotten was, will Max be impacted by the new US government administration actions and legislation? How are we addressing it? So Pat, I wanted to start with that one because I suspect there are many people on the call that wanted to ask that question straight away anyway.
Yeah, thank you, Jeff. I mean, I think it's a very important question. I can tell you our programs are not directly affected by the decisions of the US government regarding global health. We have no expectation that there will be any problem with the flow of our medicines into the hospitals. However, I can't say that, indirectly our programs are not affected in the sense that, there's with so many other programs having challenges, I expect that governments in the countries will have to reprioritize their investment and their priorities, and cancer always gets a little bit pushed to the side. So if anything, I think there is more need to support our efforts and increase our programs. And how to address it? I wrote 3 words. I wrote 3 words thinking about this the other day, and I think the way to address it is acting with humanity, to make sure that that our actions do not reflect the push to not care about each other. And so I think that, I think that the work that we do and understanding the value of each person's life is very important. All I can say.
Great, thanks, Pat. I'm just checking to see. So if anybody wants to raise their hands. Okay, John, I'm gonna open up and allow you to talk. Hopefully that works.
Thank you for having me here. Can you hear me?
I can, John.
Yes.
Thank you. My name is John from Kenya. I'm a cancer survivor. I'm living with multiple myeloma, which was diagnosed in 2022, and I had a bone marrow transplant in India because the situation in our country does not have the facilities for stem cell transplant. I'm still on therapy. I'm still on level limit, and I'm doing well. However, from my experience, I started a small foundation for fighting cancer among the most needy patients who I interact with each and every day. And the situation in our country is really bad for those needy patients. And I was wondering when Pat Garcia was talking about adding a number of patients from that 4,000, you're going to add 6,000 this year. I was praying that if you can consider Kenya as your next destination. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, John. And I'm glad to know you're doing well. And I congratulate you for stepping up and trying to help others. I think this is who we are, right? This is what we do, and that's how we make the world better. We already work in Kenya, and I think that offline we can put you in touch with our colleagues in Kenya. We have a big program for leukemia. We have started a program for breast cancer. Multiple myeloma is in a disease. It is in our priority list of diseases. We know not only that it's a very devastating disease, but that there's many treatments that exist. And so I think, it's not for lack of wanting that we haven't launched a multiple myeloma program still, but, it would be great to learn more from you, from your experience, and to figure out if there's anything that we can do together. So we'll make sure to connect you with our colleagues in Kenya. And thank you so much for what you're doing. I really love all the advocates in Kenya. Kenya has a very strong advocacy community. I mean, I think you know there's so much more to be done, but I think you should be very proud of you and your country and your fellow advocates, because they're a very, very united and strong group of people. So thank you.
Thank you so much.
So next question is actually from Martina. Hello, Martina. It's great to hear from you.
Yeah, hello everyone. So nice to see you again, Jeff. I'm really surprised seeing you. And yeah, so this just a couple of weeks ago, I was really, really surprised by a message a colleague here in Novartis passed on to me. She built up a resource group and told me, look, you will not imagine, but in many Western countries, in rich countries, you see differences in cancer diagnosis based on gender. So she said or experienced herself that yeah, diagnosis for female is kind of, yeah, a bit standing behind. Do you see that also in the territory where Max Foundation is active?
Yeah, thank you, Martina. Thank you for the question. It's so wonderful to hear you. And for those of you that might not know Martina, she is one of those people that has been very instrumental to our work in the background. And we thank you so much. We couldn't do what we've done without you. It is true. And it's especially true in many countries in cultures where some women don't make decisions about their healthcare. And so I think that that's something that we see all over the world, that women sometimes are not prioritized. But again, I think that this is what we have to do to raise our voice. And we have some programs. Personally, we have some grants at the Max Foundation that are focused on women and supporting women, especially with social determinants of health and overcoming social determinants of health challenges. So definitely it's an issue. It's I don't know, remarkable in the bad way, that is still a problem in many countries, even so-called developed countries. So thanks for raising that.
And I think LaShawn has a question.
Hi, LaShawn.
You are hearing me, right?
Yeah.
Yes, I can hear you.
Yes. So my name is Lishon Lewis. I'm from St. Vincent and the Grenadines. I was diagnosed with chronic myeloid leukemia last year, February, and things wasn't looking good for me because we don't have none of the TKIs down here. Neither we don't have the machines to check our leukemia levels. So because we don't have that, I was going through a really rough patch. The doctor didn't know how far I was, so I flew out to the United Kingdom to receive treatment. Luckily, I'm still in the chronic phase, and I'm taking dasatinib. However, the medication is not in St. Vincent. So my question is, right, the Max Foundation provides support for TKI in countries like Jamaica and St. Lucia, from what I Howard. And however, St. Vincent and the Grenadines is facing similar challenges, yet we are not receiving assistance. Given that access to these life-saving medications, which is critical, what steps can be taken to include St. Vincent in the program? Is there a process for reviewing and adding new countries to your support list?
Thank you, LeSean. And Jeff, my sound was not so good. Can you summarize the question? Is it, LeSean is from Jamaica?
Jamaica, I thought was it LaShawn? Was it Jamaica and St. Lucia, did you say? Because
No, I'm from St. Vincent, but I heard that you guys do offer medications to St. Lucia and Jamaica, which is in the Caribbean, but St. Vincent is not receiving, that assistance. So I wanted to know what can we do as a country to be on that list. I was in contact with Miss Jacqueline Montefiore, and I explained everything to her about my conditions and what I went through. I even had her spoke to the doctor here to let her know
Yeah.
what is really. So yeah, we really need the support. So I want to know what can we do to be added to that list.
Thank you, LeSean. I mean, you showcase so well, so much more that we need to do. And sometimes we are restricted by our donors on what country can we bring what medicines. And so, I think that I'm glad you're just speaking up, and we'll take your case offline to see if there's anything else that we can do to help you. But there are limitations to what we can do. We want to help everyone. And when we are not able to help somebody, it's because we have some restriction coming from the donors that, especially in the way that our programs work, is the donor that tells us what countries we can operate, especially with medicines, what countries we can bring medicines. So, stories like yours help us explain to people in the world that there is more need. So I really appreciate you speaking up, and let's just take it offline to see if there's anything else. I know you said you've been in touch with Jackie, so I'll talk to Jackie to see what the situation is. I really appreciate you speaking up.
Just checking to see if we have more questions. We had a couple more that came in advance. One was about, do we have ideas yet about what our major focus will be for our strategic plan after 2026? And for people to know, our current strategic plan runs until the end of 2026. So we're getting closer. But there's someone asking to see if there are ideas of where we think we're going to focus next.
We definitely know where we're going to focus. We need more medicines reaching more countries. As I said, I think at the beginning of my presentation, when there's all these other things that are needed, but when you ask somebody, what can the Max Foundation do? They say we need more medicines in our country, just like LeSean just told us. So we will double down in our efforts to bring more medicines to more countries. But also, we have realized that having access to medicines is sort of the first thing you need, but then immediately after we need to elevate the health systems of these hospitals to be able to really fully utilize these medicines. So if you ask me where the percentage of our effort that has been mostly on bringing medicines and in this strategic plan, I think that in the next 5 years, the percentage of effort and resources that we need to elevate the health system will be larger, and we will continue to to push to having more drugs available. And so those two things go very closely together. But yeah.
I see that Rod, you put in a question in the chat, and I wondered if you wanted to just ask it. So,
Hello, Rod, another friend of the Max Foundation.
Hi, Pat. Hi, Jeff. It's actually midnight here, Pat, but your state of the organization talk is keeping me wide awake. My two questions, concerns about governments of the world. Do you think Max is doing the job what government should be doing? And is it in Max's plans to work with these governments that seem to be unresponsive to patients' needs?
The first part of it, I mean, first of all, I want everybody to know Rod is another one of those people that has been instrumental in helping cancer patients in the Philippines and has been a wonderful partner of the Max Foundation. And I want to thank you, Rod, for being such a good friend and always pushing us also to think bigger and and asking difficult questions. Are we doing the work of governments? Sure, in some ideal world, or I don't think about that. I really don't stop and think about whose responsibility it is. It's everybody's responsibility. Yeah, of course, we want governments to support patients in the countries, of course, but I don't spend a lot of time thinking about that. I spend a lot of time thinking about how can we help patients. We are every year partnering with more governments. You know, the Max Foundation, we have this kind of unusual situation where we're working in 80 countries. We're a relatively small organization, so 80 countries is a lot. So we are partnering with several governments, especially ministries of health in countries. We would love to partner with the government of the Philippines in a more, let's say, in a more organized way. But we have to take it. I've been thinking about, you know, what do we do now where sort of the trend seems to be, we're not going to care about anybody that's a little bit too far from us and our friends, you know, and I think we have to counteract this global trend to not care about the lives of people, that we have to all with our actions and start some movement to counteract Jeff knows, because I'm a little obsessed, that my movement is acting with humanity. And I think we have to elevate the voice of why acting with humanity is important for all of us. Like, we can't, you know, leaving half the world behind cannot be good for business and cannot be good for the government of the US. So I think we have to organize ourselves a little bit more. What do you think, Rod?
Thank you, Pat, for everything that you and Max has been doing these years. Never mind them. We will get it done. Never mind the governments.
We'll do our best. So I think we need all these smart people to come join us to figure out how to do better, how to show better. You know, I always think that we have to do it because it's the right thing to do, but maybe some people are not motivated by that. So we have to be smarter. I would like to be smarter on how to explain why we should help people. And maybe this year we'll get better at that.
Yeah, all the good luck for us.
Yes, we need it.
I'm just checking to see if we have any more in the chat. Dipanwita has a question.
Oh, our friend Dipanwita. Hi, Dipanwita from India.
Hi, Matt. Very nice to see you and Jeff on the talk. As you mentioned that, your focus, one of your focus is on the woman-centric, you know, expansion of the drug and healthcare. One of them is, of course, breast cancer, which already been started and it is on a full swing. Working in Nepal, I had learned that lot of challenges, even in Kenya and other places. So, with your thinking through the challenges you faced, is there anyhow you think of expanding the program in different countries for next 2026?
Yeah, thank you, Dipanwita, for the question. You're somebody that always asks good questions. We have plans to expand. We have, especially in breast cancer, because this is a disease is relatively new to us. We've been working in breast cancer now for 2 years. And the investment needed to elevate the capacity to diagnose breast cancer is more than what we have had available so far. So we definitely have a plan to increase our capacity, increase our resources with the help of many others that we need to bring into our work so that we can help more women with breast cancer. We need more medicines, we need more diagnostics, and we need more support, and we can save the lives of so many women. So it's a call to action to join us, to help us, and we can, we are set up and we are ready to channel more resources for women. So thank you for asking that, and thank you for
Thank
supporting
you.
us with
Thank you, Pat. Thanks a lot.
I was just seeing in the chat that Gershon gave us
from
a
Ghana, our friend from Ghana.
good to
Very
see you,
good.
Gershon. Let's see if I can. I'll allow you to talk if you like while I look for the next question. All right, so the next question, what are the 3 biggest challenges, concerns in the next few years?
3 biggest challenges, I'm gonna say. Okay.
You guys more than 3.
My biggest concern is this trend that seems to be culminating this year with the actions of the US government, but that didn't just start this year, that I've seen in the past couple of years. It feels like when COVID came, we all realized we were all locked in our houses, and we realized, COVID didn't care about boundaries and political boundaries or anything. So, we all need to get better together, all the world. And I think we had learned that lesson for a minute. There was an understanding of the responsibility of everyone towards like a sort of a global community. And the trend right now is completely reversed, where we see actors that have the capacity to make a big difference to decide that that's not their responsibility. And so I think that is one of the biggest challenges that we have to figure out how to reverse this trend and remind people why we need each other, and that we can all elevate the lives of everyone in the world. There are enough resources in the world to do that. So I think that's my biggest concern. And what was it, the concerns and what
The biggest challenges, but I think that is the
biggest
biggest
challenges? I think that's the biggest challenge that we have right now. So anyone that wants to join me to put our heads together and think through how do we counteract this trend. I think by showing the importance of every single individual and every single person, and how by helping one person you help an entire community, and how at the end that sort of comes back to all of us and our lives getting better.
Thanks, Pat. Roseanne says we can counter in. Gershon, I don't know if you can hear us. You're actually, the line is open now, I think.
Thank you, Roseanne.
I'll read it if your line's not working. Is Max Foundation going to reach out to other African countries without a program?
Yes, we work in about 30 countries in Africa. There are still, like I said, countries that we have not been able to reach, and we are actively working to open our programs in more countries. Like I said, we scrape the surface. We do so much with so little, but the bottom line is that we need more resources to be able to do what needs to be done. And so, we need to reach out to more organizations, foundations that can join us. So I think that that's one of the biggest things that I want to do in the next 5 years, is to really multiply the number of foundations and organizations and companies that work with us, because we have figured out how. Now we need help sort of supersizing our work in the next 5 years.
Well, we're coming close to the end of our time. I'm just gonna give one more call for questions, and I think then we'll close. Or if any folks have comments, we'll take comments as well. Well, I think that's it. I see a note from Andy. Hi, Andy. Thank you everyone for joining us. I think Pat's talk today really, for us, it's all about partnership. None of this happens if we don't join together and work together to make a difference. And I think in the world today, that is becoming more and more important every minute. So we're so grateful, all of you joining us today, to hear about our work and give us your feedback. And I'll let Pat say the last word.
Thank you, Jeff, and thank you, everyone. I have no words to tell you how grateful I am for your support. Please continue to support our work, and please continue to amplify our voice. We need the whole world to know what we're doing. Come and celebrate with us and support our gala in a month. I would love to see you. And anyone that has any ideas about how to amplify our work, please reach out to us. I am proud and I am grateful for everyone. And like I said, that moment of knowing that, the picture of Max on the wall in the consulting room in Nepal was just really special to me. And all of you make that happen. So I just want to thank you so much from the bottom of my heart. And I will see you soon. If not in March, I'll see you online.
Take care, everyone.
Bye, everyone. Thank you.